one aspect of the film is like a sort of visceral assault, not specifically on this, but just on the audience. I thought to make a film that really is hard to watch and really... and I somehow imagined, like, and this will get into all the festivals. I succeeded incredibly well. It got into one festival, which is Ottawa, inevitably. And
do you think you're going to get it? Or?
Well, I think like you won't. This is always the response as I tell people about this film. I can't wait to watch this, and at the end of it, they look at me like I'm a lunatic because for whatever reason. I mean, it is. I'm not one of the world's great public speakers. Sort of choose to communicate through incomprehensible films, and. I watched it. Yeah, I don't sit around watching my own work, and I haven't watched it for a couple of years because when I look at this stuff, if it gets shown, it doesn't get shown, so I never watched it. So I watched it yesterday, checked the DVD, and actually I'm not sure even I understand it. and in a way, I'm slightly offended by it myself. And it's about all sorts. It's not just about that. I wanted to make something that was sort of that played with film language and was an incredibly difficult thing to watch. But I sort of imagined it would be rewarding, I suppose, in some way. But it turns out it really isn't. But it's not just about that. I mean, it's also about sort of a number of other things. You know, one of them, to be honest, is that my mind was kind of crumbling to bits as I made the film, and I just let it go. I just thought I'd make this sort of thing. There was no storyboard. There was quite a tight script, sort of stations that I had to hit. There was no idea of how to get from one to the other. So it was sort of improvised in its path, in its meandering path, but it always hits these points. And it's sort of very influenced. A lot of it, because it's about what was going on in my mind as I made it, it's also very influenced by what I was watching as I made it. So there's a big chunk that's a reference to 2001, and the only reason it's there really is that the week before I got to this section, because the film was made perfectly linear, I happened to watch 2001, so it went in, and then there's like zombie bits because I was watching zombie films. So it's also sort of like about my mind sort of crumbling to dust as I made the film, and it's also about the sort of maelstrom of stuff that's around. I mean, I suppose if I have to say what it's about, really, it's about the fact that I don't understand the world, and I never have understood the world. I've always felt like I'm kind of lost in this world. And but I've always been interested in pop culture and the news and sort of, whether it's high school massacres in America or whether it's Ged Haney's case or whatever. It's sort of like it all just piles in there. You'll see it. I mean, that's kind of what it's about. It's just my reaction to feeling lost in the world and sort of thinking I've got to make a film that's a sort of arty one-off short, and actually I'm not that interested in arty one-off shorts. I'm much more interested. I spent like years trying to get series made and stuff, and never succeeded. The funny thing about this film is that since I finished it, I became like very inspired and I've written lots of stuff, and that sort of is arty one-off shorts. Although the thing I'm working on at the moment is about two South-London 14-year-old sociopaths. So again, it doesn't really quite fit in with the sort of the old man looks sensitively back at his life. And funnily enough, one of the things that I wrote since I finished this film is an old man looks sensitively back at his life. But that will be the next thing. That'll be the next thing that I want to make. So it's, I've got a number of things lined up if I get to the thing I'm working on at the moment.
I hope you'll come back in a month or two then and show more comprehensive selection of stuff if you haven't put you off.
Yeah, I'm happy to show more comprehensive selection of stuff.
Something that's very distinctive for me about this film is the beautiful drawing style, the kind of the sort of, for that word, cartooniness, the sensibility of it. Makes you think you're about to watch something that's perhaps more light-hearted or more obviously comic, yet what you actually see is something a lot darker. Can you say something a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to sort of, about this sort of festival audience thing that I was talking about today. I kind of wanted to play with this film language, and it starts off, it's really quite cartoony in a wonky sort of way. And it's very obvious that it's the lowest form of toilet humour. People think that's what they're going to get. And the timing is all deliberately wrong, so the very unimportant things last a long time, very important things. That's not so unique. I mean, I was looking at, I thought like one thing I would like to do is take the films of Sam Peckinpah and the films of Sergio Leone and take all the violent bits, because Sergio Leone is interested in the build-up to the violence. It lasts an immensely long time. The violence is that it's gone. Peckinpah's the other way around. He's not so interested in the build-up, but as soon as he hits the violence, it's in incredible slow motion. And the moment of violence takes him off. I thought we'd like to take both their films and take the build-up from Sergio Leone and tack them onto the violence by Peckinpah, so it will last an immensely long time, then do the opposite. Take the build-up from Peckinpah and the violence from Leone, and it lasts 3 seconds. And I don't know why that interested me, but I thought I would play around with this idea. And it's also, and there's also just bits and pieces of stuff that I read, like that one of the most common places that a woman will go into labour is whilst sitting on the toilet. And one of the most common places that people will die of a heart attack is also whilst sitting on the toilet. So I thought I'll put both those in the film as well. Start the film. It doesn't start with a woman giving birth, but it does start with kind of a birth. I don't need to go like that, just on the toilet. And ends up in the same way. And there's also bits and pieces of interesting stuff that I read, and there'd have been many more of them when I started the film. I watched QI, but I don't think it existed when I started making my film. But it's full of those little stuff.
And then,
sorry.
When you got the residency in Stuttgart, was it just, could you do anything you wanted and did you have to show it at the end or anything, or was it just...
I could do anything. No, it's a long story how it happened, but no, I could do anything I wanted. And I didn't finish the film by the time I left the college. And the college kind of disowned it. But there are people thanked on the end of this film that never spoke to me again. I wasn't invited back to the college. So, and I got €50,000 from the film fund in Germany. And
say that again, 50?
€50,000 I got from the film fund around Stuttgart, because they have this federal system and they're all like in competition. And Baden-Württemberg, where Stuttgart is, they want to be seen as, they wanted to be the film area, and then realised they haven't got enough money, so they kind of became an animation area. Good area to go to if you want to get money. But they made it very clear that I will never make another film. So I was kind of hounded out of there. They were unbelievable. And
another accolade, another success.
I said, you didn't make the film. You didn't make the film you said you were going to make. I said, well, I gave you a script actually, and the script. I mean, admittedly, it doesn't look like the film that sounds like the sort of pretentious blurb that you have to write. But it is exactly different. They just didn't read it because it was in English. So, yeah.
I think that's a kind of a US P. I mean, that should go on the poster, the film that...
I don't need the poster, do I? It shows the